Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today we're going to be talking about players you didn't know were in the Overwatch League for each team. So basically we'll be going down each team in the league and we're going to be basically deciding through there. So first of all, the first one for Lane Terrain, it is the Russian hitscan of the law. He was formerly a CSGO player before getting VAC banned in October of 2014 and ending his competitive career in the game in April of 2016. Notable teams that he was in a North American team now being disbanded, called the Last Night's Leftovers, which was his last team before he got picked up in the Overwatch League by the Atlanta Reign. Other teams in notes was his first team Preds, Toronto Rocks, X Rocks, Only Six, Golden Sausage, and Rockets Esports. He hasn't really been playing a lot of contenders until he got into Last Night's Leftovers. When he joined, they actually came first in the trials for season 1, but came 11th through 12th in the major, so in the actual contender scene. Came first in season 2 trials, but didn't really do that great as well. But did improve a 5th through 8th position. He is now currently in the Valorant scene with Team Singularity, formerly from Fishka v Tom, and that is about it from the Russian hit scan of Nala. He's also his signature heroes in Overwatch, not in Valorant, in Overwatch, are Tracer, McCree, and Widowmaker. He was mainly for the Widowmaker, but that's kind of really it for Nala. He didn't really play that much in the Overwatch League. He was mainly on break duty, but he did get some playtime. Sometimes on the Widowmaker, also like on the Tracer McCree. He did do pretty well in my opinion, but yeah, that's about it. Next up, it is the Boston Uprising. The Boston Uprising is a very weird team to really think because there are many players which you can kind of really say like, oh yeah, this and that and everything. But for me, I think it's going to be the Brazilian main support of Alameo, or whatever you say it. There are also other players as well, mainly Avas Snow, or Avas, you probably don't know him because of he's now a content creator for Team Envy. Snow, he was a main support player, who is now retired, I think, to focus on his nursing career. Alameo, he's still kind of around, but he's currently inactive. So he's a main support player, formerly from the Boston Uprising, which was a very weird pickup, I'll be honest. He mainly played in the Brazilian contender scene, first with Base and Black Dragon Esports, Brazilian gaming house Base Tryhards, and ended and currently his career in the Boston Uprising. He was in the Brazilian World Cup team 3 times in 2017, 18, and 19. So he's been very consistent then. And I think he's probably regarded as one of the best main support players who came out in the Brazilian scene. And also the first Brazilian to also make it to the Overwatch League. I guess you can also count hydration, but not really. Other stuff about Lameo, apparently it actually means German in Portuguese, which is very weird, even though he's just Brazilian. His favorite food is burgers. His favorite place is his PC. Secret talent, he plays the guitar, and he plays a lot of guitar and drums. Now he wants to play piano, and he's looking forward to play this season. So this is a trivia, which from Wikipedia was with Note because he played against him in the Overwatch World Cup, and he thinks Note is insanely good, which he is. But obviously a lot of people know about him. So there's Alameo. And obviously, the honorable mentions definitely goes to Avas and Snow, who didn't get any playtime at all, which is pretty sad because I think I think they definitely would have gotten some great playtime. Another player to really mention is Persia, who's a flex support player who did retire. Avas is still a Team Envy content creator, and Snow has now retired to focus on his nursing career. Next, it is the Chengdu Hunters. Now, the Chengdu Hunters is also a very weird one because there's not like a whole lot of players they can really say. But for me, I'm gonna say the backup main tank of Chichirin. Tachirin didn't really play that well, I'll be honest. He didn't really play that much actually. But he was supposed to be the backup for Among, who was basically a wrecking ball specialist. Played for two teams before joining the Chengdu Hunters, the Miraculous Youngsters team, which was very, very popular about being one of the best, and Team CC, which was the academy team for the Shanghai Dragons before joining the Chengdu Hunters, which didn't really perform that well. He's also a broadcast talent, a guest commentator for the Huye Dragonblade Cup Invitational Tournament. His signature heroes are Reinhardt and Winston. He has never played in the Chinese Overwatch World Cup. He does have two achievements though of I think winning the Overwatch Premier Series 2017 with Miraculous Youngsters. We're gonna see if he get. I don't know if he's gonna get any playtime. He is active, so he obviously he still can get picked up. There's little something as well. Chichirin is robot in Chinese, and mostly there were many jokes about Chichirin breaking down and everything. But hey, so there is Chichirin for you from the Chengdu Hunters. Next, it is the Dallas Fuel. The Dallas Fuel can be various of players, to be honest. Um, but in my opinion, I think it's very close because there's many players who are very well known and everything. I'm going to probably say XQC. And people may be wondering why hell XQC. Now there were there was other players as well, but like Seagull, Chip Cyanogen, Coco. It's kind of really it. But I think mainly XQC because he's now mainly in the Twitch scene and one of the largest streamers on Twitch. He is retired, but he's streaming for Luminosity Game, which is a Canadian esports team, which was founded in 2015. His signature hero is mainly Winston, Reinhardt, and Orisa. We already know this because we've seen his streams. To be honest, we know how good XQC can be. So prior to joining Dallas Fuel, he was originally from Q, Denial Esports, and Arc 6. Denial Esports, yes, that load of crap. After leaving the Dallas Fuel because of some questionable things that he's done, even the one that I don't really understand, he was with the Goats team, which obviously became the meta that basically blew up in 2019 in season 2. He then went to Gladiator's Legion as a substitute, and then I think he retired to stream for the Sentinels team. Now he is with Luminosity Gaming. He has appeared in the Overwatch World Cup team 3 times for Canada in 2017, 18, and 19. So it's very similar to everyone else. So his handle, which is XQC, came from his first name, which is Felix, and the abbreviation of his home province, which is Quebec in QC. He has been suspended multiple times for his actions in ranked games, which we already knew, and he has a brother called Nick. So that's XQC for you. One of the largest Twitch streamers currently, currently on the platform. Next up is the Florida Mayhem. The Mayhem can be a very difficult one because there are many players which you don't really remember or really know. But I am going to say Zebosai. Zebosai, it was a main support player, if I remember correctly. Yes, he was a main support player from Sweden. He has appeared in the Overwatch World Cup twice for Sweden, 16 and 17, so first in the inaugural season. Before joining the Florida Mayhem, he was previously from Creation Esports and Impulse 11, Gravitational Surge, and Misfits, which obviously owns Florida Mayhem and brought up their whole team to join the league. He was actually formerly from the TF2 scene. Now he's actually returned to the TF2 scene on May 24, 2019. So now he has retired. And he does have he obviously have a TF2 background. And was most notably for his roles as the Pocket Soldier and Scout. Currently he is with the Team Fortress team named Ascent.eu, but not anymore. Looks like he has retired once again and probably going to be focusing mainly on his life. So good luck to Zebasai and for his future endeavors. Next up is the Guangzhou Charge. Guangzhou Charge is another very difficult one, but I'm probably going to say only wish. He's a Chinese main support player who obviously previously played in the Guangzhou Charge, but he was also also under a two-way contract. The only team he played prior to joining the Guangzhou Charge was the LGD gaming team. He then obviously joined the first Guangzhou Charge, and then he was under a two-way contract, so he played also for the academy team, which is just GZ Academy, who is now disbanded, and later played for Cosmos Advertis Gaming, which is a Chinese team for contenders. He is currently active, so obviously he still can get picked up. His signature heroes is Mercy and Lucio, and he does have a nickname in Chinese, which I don't really want to really translate currently, but very, very little information about Only Wish. He was one of the first players to be announced, alongside others like Kib, Rise, Chara, Shu, Happy, including Eileen, Rio, and then obviously Hopper was one of the first. So there is Guangzhou Charge and Only Wish for you. Next up is the Hangzhou Spark, and just like most of these teams, it's very, very difficult to choose them because most of them have very, very talented and very, very well-known players. But I'm actually going to say Revenge. Revenge is a flexible player from Korea. He obviously used to play for the Spark. Prior to join, he was formerly from Conbox and then Seven. So obviously if you don't know, Hangzhou Spark did merge. I think two teams. It was Seven and I think it was X6 Gaming as well. I can't remember. But it was a Korean team. I remember that. Seven didn't really play that well. They were mainly at the back. Season 1, Season 2. So Season 1 they came 5th through 8th. Season 2 they came 9th through 10th. Not that great for the team. But however, they did get signed to the Hangzhou Spark. Alongside his fellow teammates of Bazi and Adora. Revenge is now currently with Runaway, who came second in Season 2 Korea, and came second in also Season 1 Korea as well, this year in 2020. His most signature heroes are Ana, Zenyatta, and Baptiste. We'll see if Revenge can actually come back to the league. We're gonna see, but maybe. I really don't think it's gonna happen, but we can see in the future. Next up is the Houston Outlaws, and the Houston Outlaws is easy as hell. It is obviously Mendo Kusai. He's currently now a streamer. He's currently streaming now for Team Liquid. He obviously used to play in the Overwatch scene, but he didn't get a lot of playtime in the Overwatch League, even though we were very, very hyped up about him actually joining the team. So prior from joining Houston Outlaws, he was formerly from Valafar, SK Gamer, IDDQD, My Dong, which is an interesting name, FaZe Clan, and then Cloud9, and then he went to the Houston Outlaws. He did stay a bit longer, as he was a streamer for them, but now he has gone to Valorant to partner with Team Liquid. Apparently, it doesn't say in the organization that he's in there, but he is streaming for them, he is basically a streamer. So prior to joining the Houston Outlaws, he was in Cloud9. His last achievement in Cloud9 was 9th through 12th in the Overwatch Apex Season 2, and then he went to the Houston Outlaws, which came third in the Stage 1 title match. A fun fact. He did previously play Counter-Strike Global Offensive competitively, but I guess he just retired and went to Overwatch when he came out. Mendo Kusai is actually Japanese for troublesome or brothersome, bothersome, and Lundy is his older brother, who is also retired. He was a flexible player, formerly from Gladiators Legion. And that is it for Mendo Kusai. Next up, it is the London Spitfire. Spitfire is a very interesting one, but I'm probably going to say Hagapin. It was a very close between Hagupin or Wuya, or maybe Guard as well. But I'm going to say Hagupin, just because he didn't. He hasn't really been showing up a lot. So prior from joining the London Spitfire, he was in the dominant of GC Busan team, which obviously won many tournaments and went up against Runaway and Lunatic High for the ages, really. Did win the Overwatch Apex Season 4 and the APAC Premier 2017, both against Runaway. And he obviously got signed to the London Spitfire as, just like Hangzhou Spark, they merged two teams together of GC Busan and Cloud9 Condu Panthera. Or Cloud9 Condu. So after leaving the London Spitfire, he then joined the Mayhem Academy team, and then got promoted to the Florida Mayhem, and now he is the manager of the GC Busan Wave team, which is not GC Busan. We need to remember that it is not GC Busan. It is very different. GC Busan is now was I guess Blossom, not anymore. But was formerly Blossom. GC Busan Wave is an entirely new team. So don't get confused about GC Busan and GC Busan Wave. So there is Hagupin for you, the flex support whose signature heroes are Zenyatta, Ana, and interestingly, Sombra. Next it is the Gladiators. The Gladiators is also a very interesting one. There are currently 3 players that are very close. We have Silk Thread, Asher, and iRemix, but I'm probably going to stay with iRemix. He didn't really play that whole lot, I'll be honest. Only in stage 1 and then in the playoffs, but then he just got booted out. Which is pretty sad, but hey, he's also the first Puerto Rican player to actually join the league. He is the main tank and was formerly from Ryan and was signature here as well, Reinhardt and Winston. Prior from joining the Gladiators, he was formerly from Congarna, so 3 times he actually joined Congarna, Ghost Gaming, and Splice. After leaving the Gladiators, he then went to Skyfoxes and Phase 2 in the Revival, and he has now retired to, I think maybe just, I really don't know what iRemix is doing nowadays. I think I do follow his Twitter account, but I currently don't know what he's doing. I think he's just now playing Valorant, which is very interesting, which basically shows that a lot of Overwatch players are now playing Valorant these days, and they may overtake, I don't really know. But there is iRemix and Gladiators for you. Next up it is the Valiant. The Valiant is also very interesting. There are many players you can also say about this. Mainly probably Verbo, Silk Thread, Grim Reality, or Fact Fiction. But I am probably going to say Verbo. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it a tie. It's going to be Verbo and Grim Reality. So we're first going to start with Verbo. Verbo is a main support player from Canada. He's only from playing Lucio. He's actually currently with Vaste Gaming, which he actually retired earlier. But he is now back in competitive play and now playing for Vaste Gaming. So prior to joining Valiant, he first joined Bold Purpose Gaming, then Harambe Comets, then Immortals, and then obviously that came basically the building ground of the Valiant team. After leaving Valiant, he then joined the Skyfoxes and then became the manager of Skyfoxes. Now we go to Grim Reality. Grim Reality, he doesn't have a lot of history, but hey, so first he joined Sody Pop, and then for a very long time he was with Immortals, which obviously won the Contenders Season 0 North America, but came 6th in Season 1. He then joined the LA Valiant, and then he actually transitioned to a assistant coach for the Valiant. He was a hitscan player and played mainly McCree, Tracer, Soldier 76, and Widowmaker. He was recently also a professional Apex Legends player for Genji Esports, and I think he's also retired in Apex Legends as well. So that is both Verbo and Grim Reality for the LA Valiant. Next up it is the New York Excelsior. New York is very interesting. There are currently two players in mind. It is Flower and Giannis, but I'm definitely going to say Giannis. It is Flower. Flower is only very well known because of 2017 Overwatch World Cup. So Giannis, prior to joining the New York, he actually first joined the LW Blue team, which obviously now was New York Excelsior. He then joined the Washington Justice, but I do have a couple plays in mind for the Washington Justice, so he is definitely not one of them. He's obviously well known for his aggressive flanking play style of a main tank, which obviously didn't really put him greatly with with New York, which also caused him to be benched by Mano. And his signature heroes was Winston and Reinhardt, so just the two main tanks heroes. He also has an older brother and a rabbit in his Korean home. So there is Giannis for you. I think he's retired to do his mandatory military work, if I remember correctly, or maybe he's just retired from professional Overwatch altogether. But I do think he has now retired. Um, I think he's now retired just to either do mandatory military work, or he just stopped playing competitively in general. So there is Giannis for you for the New York Excelsior. Next up, it is the Paris Eternal. Eternal is another very weird team that I had no idea about. So I am probably going to say Danye. There is also Gray as well, but I think Gray is too popular because obviously we already know how nutty of a Ana player he is. So I'm going to say Danye. So Danye is a flex DPS player. He first joined MKS, and then Bazooka Puppies, Copenhagen Flames, and then he joined the Paris Eternal. He then briefly retired, I think, just to pursue Valorant, but that didn't really work. Now he's back in Overwatch and playing for Old and Board, which is a EU contenders team. He did play in the Polish Overwatch World Cup team 3 times in 17, 18, and 19. Obviously before he retired. And that's kind of really it for Danye. Uh, that's kind of really it for the first ever Polish the first ever Polish Overwatch League player. It's Danye. So that's kind of really it for him. It was also Greywood, who was also very close, but obviously he is a great Ana player and definitely showed up in season 2. So yeah. So there is Danye for you for the Paris Eternal. Next, it is the Philadelphia Fusion. There's definitely one player while I was actually doing some research on this, I actually forgot he was in the Overwatch League. It is Dayfly. You've never heard of this guy before, but it's Dayfly. He's a flexible player, obviously formerly from the Philadelphia Fusion. He is still active. Yeah, in 2 years, he has not been picked up by any team at all, which is pretty sad actually. But how he is currently serving his mandatory military service, so that probably makes sense why. His only signature hero is Ana, and he did not get a lot of play time in the Overwatch League, which is shocking. Oh, well, actually, no, I'm not that shocked because Boombox was there, and it was actually pretty good in Season 1. So before joining the Fusion, he was first with MIG or MiG Frost, which I think is MIG Frost, and Afrika Blue, so Afrika Freaks Blue, and then Ardent, and then he joined the Philadelphia Fusion. I'm still confused on how he joined the Overwatch League, but he did, I guess. So there's Dayfly for you. Next up it is the back-to-back Overwatch League champions, the San Francisco Shock. Now there are 3 players currently. I don't really know who to pick. Well, I was actually actually researching this. It is IDDQD, Nomi, and Dak. And I don't really know who to pick. I'll probably get rid of IDDQD because he's a streamer and he's actually pretty popular. So is he a Nomi or Dak? I'll probably have to say, you know what? It's gonna be a tie. It's gonna be Nomi and Dak because I can't choose because they're both so similar. So Nomi, the first Mexican player to join the Overwatch. Um, Obviously was from the San Francisco Shock, and he actually has a pretty long history after and before as well. So before joining, he played for Sody Pop, then Ronin, then Sody Pop again, Immortals, then Virtue, and then he joined the San Francisco Shock. Then he joined Goats after leaving their first generation, second generation, then Montreal Rebellion until he transitioned to a coach. He coached for Square One and Triumph. He coached Square One to get fifth through sixth in Season One North America, and he coached Triumph to get through the qualifiers trials in NA Season 2 of August. He is currently still active, and he was a main tank. Mainly signature heroes are Reinhardt and Winston. So there is Nomi for you. Next up is Dak. He is a main support player who has now retired, and his only signature hero was Lucio. He was born in Venezuela, but then moved to Spain. So he's actually um, so he would rather go over the Spain flag, and he actually did move to Spain when he was 11. So he previously was he was previously from Flying Algo McCree, then Selfless Gaming, and then he went to the Shock. Both Nomi and Dak have been in the Overwatch League, so the Overwatch World Cup. For Dak, it would be 17-18. For Nomi, it was 16 and 19 because Mexico didn't have a Overwatch World Cup team during 17 or 18. I don't know. I don't think they even participated. So there is Nomi and Dak for the San Francisco Shock. Next up, it is the Seoul Dynasty. Seoul is a very, very tough one as well. But actually, now look about it, is actually pretty easy. You may not know that this player was actually joined the Overwatch League. It is Eska. Eska is actually the only player. Actually, no, there's actually another player, which I forgot to say. Shit. He's actually for the Valiant. His name is Provide, or Slur, normally. Eska was actually the first player to actually join the Overwatch League, but then retire, which is pretty sad. So Eska was formerly from Lunatic High. He did play in the Korean Overwatch World Cup team in 2016 and then joined the Seoul Dynasty, but then left a couple days later. Even though we all thought that Eska was actually going to join. He was a flex DPS player. McCree, May, Sombra, Tracer, and Soda 36 mainly that. I think that's probably says his scan then. He left Overwatch to play PUBG for KSV Esports, later renamed Genji Esports, the parent company that owns the Seoul Dynasty. So he won the first Overwatch World Cup. He was the 2010 Special Force World Champion, the 2010 to 11 SK Telecom Special Force Pro League Champion, 2011 SK Telecom Special Force Pro League MVP, 2011 IEF Special Force, 2012 4G LTE Special Force 2 Pro League Season 2, Black Squad BSN Season 1, Season 2, Season 3 Champion, Black Squad BSN Season 2 MVP. That's a lot of wins for the 29-year-old of Eska. But yeah, that's Eska for you for the Seoul Dynasty. So they learned something new today. Eska was actually about to join the Overwatch League until he retired a couple of days later, well, a couple of months later, actually. Next, it is the Shanghai Dragons, and there's a lot I can choose for the Shanghai Dragons. Mainly the Chinese talent. Zushu, Roshan, Altering 5 King, Free Fill, Sky, MG, and Undead, not DL. Oh, Molly. Oh, wait, crap. I just said Molly. I don't know. I'm not really Undead because Undead was actually pretty good. There's many choices. I'll probably have to. I don't know. I'll probably say Free Fill. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna say Free Fill. But he later actually changed his name to B612. I don't know why. But yeah, that's B612 for you. So before joining the Shanghai Dragons, he was formerly from FTD Club. Then he joined, and then after leaving Shanghai Dragons, he joined Young Kaiser Gaming Red. then restarted Alter Ego Light Gaming, but then he retired on the April 19th of 2020. I don't know what he's doing now these days. But yeah, so there is Zushu or B612 for you, who is a flexible player. Signature heroes Ana and Yada. That's about it, really. That's about it. What I can really give about Freefill or B612. Don't know why he changed his name. I think he changed his name after he left Shanghai Dragons, so it's probably around the Young Kaiser Gaming.red. He changed his name to B612. There's also many others like Zushu, Roshan, altering free 5 King Sky. I'm basically give like a little bit of rundown. Zushu, I think he's currently so Zushu is also retired. Roshan, he has also retired, but he's now currently a coach for Talent Transmission. Altering is kind of like the only one which is like big. He's currently a coach for Bilibili Gaming, which is obviously the academy team for Hangzhou Spark. 5King, or now CEO, was formerly from Team CC, but then he retired. Sky, currently a coach for Ultra Prime Academy, which is the Guangzhou Charge Academy team. And lastly, MG, who is still active, previously played for Cycling Coupling. Next up, it is the Toronto Defiant. Toronto's very interesting, but there's probably only one player I can kind of say, and that is Sharik. Sharik is the first Latvian player to join the Overwatch League. He was a main tank, mainly Winston Reinhardt, so just like Yanis. So before joining the Toronto Defiant, he joined many teams. And I don't mean many, I mean a lot. Flipside Tactics, 425, Anox, I don't know why, Anox, I don't know. Slab Squad, E United, CIS Hope, Windstrike Team, and then CIS Hope again. Second Wind, Montreal Rebellion, and Toronto Defiant, which he then retired on the April 6th, 2020, which I think it was kind of when when everyone started retiring in the Overwatch League scene. If you search up his Wikipedia page, you may be wondering why the hell did he play for Team Russia in 2017? Well, he was actually a last-second substitute due to Russia's visa issues. That's why if you go to 2017, you'll see also Forsaken. Not the India Forsaken about Word.exe. The Forsaken of Latvian. He was also there as well. But actually, it was mistakes actually also replaced someone as well. But that's Sharik for you. He was also from the United Kingdom. He lived in the UK prior to joining the Montreal Rebellion team. So there is Sharik and the Toronto Defiant. Next is the Vancouver Titans. Now Titans is possibly the trickiest one. There are many great players in this. It's very hard to choose. I'll probably have to go ahead and say Tizzy. So Tizzy he's actually currently inactive. Obviously in London I said Hagupin, so don't worry. So Vancouver Titans. Prior to joining Vancouver, he first played in Rhinos game in Wings, he ran the runway, then he joined the London Spitfire, then X2 Academy, then GZ Academy, then Chicken Contenders, and Ground Zero Esports, then Vancouver Titans, then he joined Lucky Future. Now he's currently inactive to do his mandatory military service in Korea. God, I can't speak. He's a main tank, signature heroes Winston, Reinhardt, Orisa, and Wrecking Ball. He was also a vital part of them getting into the playoffs, and it's sad really. He's been pretty unlucky, Tizzy is, but I think when he finishes military service, I think he will definitely, he will definitely come back and join the Overwatch League. We'll see. And finally, the Washington Justice. Now, obviously, I said that I won't be choosing Yanis. There are currently four players, a maximum of 4 players who you probably didn't know. Sleepy, Hyunwoo, Sansam, and Falsix. I'll probably get rid of Sleepy because he's actually a pretty popular streamer now in Overwatch. I'll probably also get rid of Falsix because he was actually pretty popular as well, mainly in the NA Contenders region. So he's either Hyunwoo, I don't know how you say it, like Hyunwoo, I don't know, or Sansam. If I can't say both, I don't care. Both Hyunwoo and Sansam. So let's first start with Hyunwoo. He is still currently active. No one has picked him up, so just like Dayfly. Uh, Signature hero Mercy Lucius is the main support. Prior to joining the Watch of Justice, he was originally from MIG Blaze, Africa Red, WNV.Korea, Metathena, Metabellum, World Game Star H2, and now the earlier the Washington Justice. Yeah, he didn't really play that well, didn't he? I was not really impressed with his performance. I don't know how he was picked up, but he was. Also, however, was actually quite the opposite. He actually impressed me. He was very consistent. He was possibly the most consistent player there. Basically, almost just like Sanguinar, like those hidden gems. So prior to joining Watch of Justice, he was first from Africa Red, Metabellum, and then Metathena. Uh, he's an off tank, so Diva and Roadhog, and he is now moved on to Valorant. I think he is currently teamless. I don't really know, however. Um, let me have a look at his Twitter. I think he is currently teamless. Never mind, it doesn't exist anymore. So there you go. Sansam's Twitter account. It is now non-existent. But yeah, that's kind of really it now. So I hope you guys actually enjoyed this very long video. And tomorrow I will be making the Overwatch League news recap off-season thing because there's been some juices and I want to talk about them currently, but I can't. I already said one thing which I did not mean to say, but hey. So that's it for me now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you guys all next time. Goodbye.